The autumn morning greeted Jack with a blanket of cool mist. The old forest cabin where he, Moss, and young Ethan had spent the night after getting lost among the mushroom-filled mountain woods was slowly waking with the forest itself. Thin rays of sunlight slipped through the cracks in the wooden walls. Somewhere nearby, a woodpecker tapped rhythmically. The branches of ancient fir trees whispered above the roof. Jack woke first. The fire in the stove had long since died, leaving only pale gray ashes. Ethan was still asleep beneath an old blanket, smiling peacefully in his dreams. Moss lay beside the door. The old dog immediately lifted his head when he heard Jack move. "Good morning, old friend," Jack whispered. Moss wagged his tail. Outside, the forest was unusually quiet. It was the kind of silence that only comes after a night of autumn rain, when every leaf is heavy with moisture and the earth seems to breathe beneath a blanket of fog. After a simple breakfast of bread and dried meat, they packed their baskets and prepared for the journey home. The air smelled of wet moss, pine needles, mushrooms, and damp wood. Their baskets were heavy. The previous day's adventure had rewarded them with an impressive harvest of porcini mushrooms. Some were so large that Ethan kept taking them out of the basket just to admire them again. "Look, Uncle Jack, this one is the biggest." "You've said that at least 20 times already," Jack laughed. "But it really is the biggest." The boy's excitement brought a smile to the old mushroom hunter's face. As they continued along the trail, the forest slowly brightened. Golden sunlight filtered through the mist and turned the fog into rivers of light flowing between the trees. Dewdrops sparkled on spiderwebs stretched between branches. Somewhere deep in the woods, a raven called. Moss trotted ahead as usual. Then he stopped. Instantly, his tail dropped, his ears stiffened. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. For decades, he had trusted Moss's instincts more than his own eyes. "Ethan, stay still." The boy froze. A branch snapped ahead, then another. Heavy footsteps, slow, powerful. The bushes parted. A huge mother bear stepped onto the trail. Her dark fur still glistened from the rain. Behind her emerged 2 small cubs, tumbling awkwardly over roots and rocks. Ethan stopped breathing. Jack's heart pounded. A bear is dangerous. A mother bear with cubs is far worse. The bear noticed them immediately. She rose onto her hind legs, towering above the undergrowth, massive, powerful, terrifying. Moss growled, low, deep, a warning. The bear dropped back to all fours and took a step forward, then another. Ethan gripped Jack's sleeve. "Uncle Jack, don't move." The cubs sniffed curiously at the air, but their mother had already decided the humans were too close. She let out a thunderous roar. The entire forest seemed to shake. And then, everything happened at once. Moss charged forward, straight between the bear and his family. "Moss!" The dog barked furiously. Once, twice, 3 times, then sprinted into the forest. The bear instantly focused on him. Moss dashed through the trees, deliberately drawing her away from Jack and Ethan. Branches cracked. The bear roared. The dog barked. The sounds echoed through the forest, farther, farther away. Then, silence. A terrible silence. Jack stood frozen. His heart felt as though it might burst. Minutes passed. No moss. "Will he come back?" Ethan asked quietly. Jack couldn't answer, because he didn't know. They slowly continued down the trail. The mushrooms no longer mattered. The baskets no longer mattered. Only moss mattered. As they walked, Jack remembered years of adventures together. Storms, snow, campfires, mountain trails, countless mushroom hunts. His loyal companion had been there through all of it. Every step felt heavier than the last. The forest that had seemed beautiful only an hour earlier now felt empty. 2 hours later, they finally neared the edge of the woods. Neither Jack nor Ethan had spoken much. Then they heard it. A bark. Faint. Distant. Jack stopped. Another bark. Closer. Moss. A third bark echoed through the trees. Then suddenly, a muddy shape burst from the bushes. Dirty, wet, exhausted, but alive. Moss ran toward them with all the strength he had left. "Moss!" Ethan rushed forward. The dog nearly knocked him over. Jack dropped to one knee and wrapped both arms around his old friend. "You foolish old dog." His voice trembled slightly. Moss wagged his tail as if he couldn't understand why everyone was making such a fuss. But deep inside, Jack knew the truth. Without Moss, he and Ethan might never have made it out of that forest. The old dog hadn't simply distracted the bear. He had willingly run toward danger to give his people a chance to escape. A wave of gratitude filled Jack's heart. For all the years of friendship, for every trail they had walked together, for every campfire, for every adventure, and most of all, for the simple fact that his best friend was alive and standing beside him. Jack said nothing more. He simply rested his hand on Moss's head, and that was enough. Together, they continued the journey home. That evening, Ethan's father arrived to pick him up. The boy could hardly stop talking about the cabin, about the foggy forest, about the giant mushrooms, about the bear, and most of all, about the brave dog named Moss. "I don't want to go home yet," Ethan admitted. "I want another adventure with Uncle Jack." Everyone laughed. Meanwhile, Moss slept peacefully beside the porch. The evening sun warmed his old fur. A gentle breeze carried the scent of pine trees across the yard. And if someone had watched closely, they might have noticed his paws twitching in his sleep. Perhaps he was running through the forest again, through the mist among the fir trees, past hidden mushrooms and forgotten trails, following the scent of adventure, and walking the long road home beside the people he loved most.